now, in the meantime, we said there was no statement from the European leaders yet. The first statement was made by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. He mentioned that we were supportive of Trump's commitment to providing security assurances for Ukraine. He stated, "I believe we are at a critical juncture for Ukraine. I question whether Putin is brave enough to face Zelensky in these important days." Ayhan Hokum says that this meeting not only met expectations but also exceeded them. What can we infer from this statement? The German side has assessed that the leaders' summit will be held in 2 weeks. Simultaneously, expectations are that the event will take place soon.
Mersin statements. From the moment he came to power, especially when we look at the relationship between Trump and Germany, between Trump and America and Germany, in fact, that we can call faint, that there are so many, will not anger other European states, but it's the kind of rhetoric that Trump would like. In other words, these statements he has made do not actually have any equivalent. They say security guarantees, but at the same time, Trump is saying, you know what, I'm talking to Putin. He says he will bring Zelensky together and make them agree. Now I'm coming to the table. I took notes here. Now, since a little while ago, 100 billion. Last night, a new armaments package worth millions of dollars was announced for Ukraine during our live broadcast here. And there was the image. We compared Russia's demands with those of Ukraine, emphasizing the differences. What is one of the main demands of Ukraine? Ukraine's disarmament. The fact that it has such a minimal army, which we can call a security unit. Heavy weapons, withdrawal from Ukraine. Now Russia has such a demand. So what does today mean? Security, conference, summit, what comes out of it? A very serious arming of Ukraine. Macron must have a strong army. He made a statement right there in the meeting. Meloni, a similar agreement to NATO's Article 5. Substance, opinion, he said it should be provided over Ukraine. Now this is all even a $100 billion armament package. It is a situation that Russia will definitely oppose, that it rejected from the beginning. Now you say, let's make peace and at the same time heavily arm Ukraine. Ukraine if necessary. European states have warned that an attack on Ukraine, in the scenario that we will be on the ground on the side of Ukraine, NATO Article 5 guarantees security.
Is this the goal on the basis of Trump? Let's not be seen to be making Ukraine fight, but let's continue to keep Russia busy there with this aid. Let us neither kill nor let us live.
Security?
And let the threat not come to us.
I was just about to come here, Ms. Delara. I think it's not to show him like this anymore, but
are they doing it openly?
As Lindsey Graham once said about a year ago, before Trump came, as Americans, we don't do anything. We pay for it. We are cornering the Russians by paying for it, he said. He said it openly. Now, the Europeans don't say it so openly, but now I think they are showing it loud and clear. We are here in the rest of Ukraine. We will build a buffer zone against the Russians with Ukrainian soldiers and people. How will we do it? We will pay for it. We will arm Ukrainians. We will make Ukraine fight against the Russians on our behalf. And current European statements from the meeting, I think that's exactly what is reflected on the outside. And I think this is definitely not an important step on the road to peace. On the contrary, it is a roadblock to peace. Most important, one of the stages. And I repeat, I had no such expectations, and I have been saying this since last night. Nothing concrete for peace came out of this meeting either. But if you really Trump for $100 billion plus a $50 billion drone deal. If they convince them to arm Ukraine, to strengthen the Ukrainian army, this is certainly not a success on the road to peace. But in terms of European policy, I think it's a plus for the Europeans. Look at it now. We talked about the Alaska summit. I said at the Alaskan summit that Putin profited from one side of the war. We said Putin profited from this Alaska summit. With this meeting, we said that the Europeans will try to balance the Alaska summit, that victory of Putin. Now, in this meeting, if these reports are true, I think the Europeans have profited. Is there anything we can say about peace? I think not. Both sides of the war are trying, by further strengthening their own ranks, and has created a new equation, and this equation is not peace. On the contrary, it shows that the war will continue even more permanently, even more violently. So again, I didn't see anything in the name of peace. But Trump will continue to support the war with $100 billion and $50 billion if he is going to continue like this. If he is going to continue to support Ukraine, this is not really different from Biden's policy. This also happened under Biden. So don't look at Trump saying that he gave so many $billion, the war in 2022 is over. The Germans gave 100 billion euros, announced an arms package. 70 billion euros went to America. At the moment, Europe is arming itself, but it is buying a very large proportion of its weapons from the United States. This equation is not new. This equation was already working under Biden, under the Democrats. Now Trump is continuing Biden's policy. Let's remember, before the 75th NATO summit, 2 to 3 days after the summit in Italy, a meeting in Switzerland. Peace conference was organized without Russia. Then there was talk of similar armament packages, American support, weapons from America. There is no difference now. Therefore, I don't think there is much difference in terms of peace. And lastly, I noted something, please. You know, we have been saying from the very beginning what is going to come out of this, and here is a phrase that Trump used, hops, meaning he hopes. Trump hopes that Zelensky and the Russians, Putin, will meet. Trump hopes that the ranks of the people participating in the delegations will be higher. He hopes that more important people will participate in the delegation meetings, but notice, Trump is always hoping. He thinks he can solve this in 2 weeks. He thinks it was a positive meeting, he thinks it happened, but there is nothing concrete. And if it's true, we have a $100 billion arms package. And this $100 billion armament package will certainly not serve peace. It will serve the further escalation of the conflict. And Europe's use of Ukraine in their war, in their policy of balancing Russia, once again reinforced their intention to use it as a front line.